Welcome Binge Watchers, where we talk about the stories and characters we love and the shows they live in. My name is Ron, and let's talk about Season 2 of the Amazon original, The Man in the High Castle. I did the Season 1 review for this show super long time ago, but I really liked Season 1. It's a reimagining of the world after World War II, where what would have happened if the Nazis won. The United States is divided between the Germans and the Japanese. It was a fascinating season. And then, and this is going into Season 1 spoilers here, we see that the Japanese Trade Minister Shang Tsung is somehow transported into the actual world where the Nazis lost the war, and then the season ends and you're like, what? So Season 1 ends on this massive cliffhanger, and because it was a pretty good season, I was super looking forward to this season, and I was kind of disappointed. I was watching this season with my wife, and she checked out about halfway through the season. If a show doesn't grab her by like episode 4 or 5, she's out. I always feel bad quitting on a show halfway. And this season was frustrating to me because it's still a good show. The story's still super interesting. The premise is awesome. The design of this show is incredible. I love how this show looks, and I like the characters, but it felt like this season had no momentum at any point. It doesn't really capitalize on the cliffhanger from Season 1, and whenever the story in this season gets going, it immediately slows back down to almost a halt, and it's frustrating because there are interesting stories here. Frank and the Resistance have an interesting story, Juliana in the Reich is an interesting story, Joe Blake and his origins is an interesting story, and probably my favorite story, Tagomi and Yoshida and everything that happens on the Japanese side. So how can a show with so many interesting stories and such a fantastic premise be so boring? I mean, I don't think this season is all bad. I still enjoyed it and I like the show, but this just had the potential to be a great show, and now it's like, it's good, it's fine. It mostly looks really good and has an interesting premise, but unfortunately, this season doesn't do much to take advantage of that premise. This season has a bit of a Walking Dead syndrome, where stuff only actually happens right before the season ends, which I kinda hate. The last episode was pretty good, but I wish that that would have been like episode 6 or 7. If you're waiting for some big reveals about where the films come from, or how does that interdimensional thing work, or why does it happen, or how come some of the films show something from the real world and some of the films just show like a possible future in the world where the Nazis won. I mean, I didn't expect them to reveal everything, but something, a little bit. Throw us a bone. The season focuses on the stories of the characters in the world they live in, which is fine, but the stories take so long to get going. And the performances and the writing I thought were great, but that's exactly why everything just feels like missed potential. Everything that happens in the season feels like it could have taken place over like 5 or 6 episodes, and then a 10-episode season would have been far more eventful. And all that fantastic writing and acting and design and story could have been put to use in a really good show, but it never gets there. The season ends and you're just kind of like, so what's new on Netflix? Bottom line, should you watch it? I mean, I don't know. It's tough to say. It's still a good show, but it's just disappointing because it could have been a great show. I still enjoyed it primarily for the design and some of the good performances from the cast. So I'd say if you absolutely loved Season 1, sure, watch this season as well, and you'll probably still enjoy it even though it's not the best. If you were like, about Season 1, I'd say just skip this one. What about you? Have you watched Season 2 of The Man in the High Castle? What were your thoughts about it? Put them all in the comments down below and let's get the discussion going. Also, let me know if you've watched any of the other Amazon originals and what were your thoughts about some of those as well. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up. It really helps out a lot. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram and TV Time. And if you're finding Binge Watchers for the first time, welcome. I'd like to invite you to join the Binge Watchers community. Come talk about TV with us. It's a lot of fun. But in any case, keep binging, and I will see you next time.